to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
Razabani for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast with me. You were sweating before. You look like you've just completely dried out.
The door's been open, the heating's off, and yeah, I'm freezing, and I'm chewing on ice, which doesn't help.
How things?
All good, yeah.
How's the little session been today?
Yeah, it was just a tick over, go over a few little tech stuff, and hit the pads. I haven't actually wore bag gloves for ages, wow. Lighter gloves, so I was thinking, woo, on fire.
I remember, obviously, we had that little problem or break in COVID 2020. I think you got out once, and then last year was twice, and then this year is kind of your third outing. So nice and keeping yourself busy, always a good thing. Yeah,
third fight this year for a third title. I'm not complaining. I've always said active Natasha is a dangerous one.
It certainly is. Like you said, third title next week. Would you ever imagine yourself? Me and Joe were talking earlier about all the champions coming out of the gym, and I was putting it on Joe. I was like, who's the ones that were naturally talented? Who are the ones that you thought couldn't make it to that wall? He didn't give me too much weight, but he said, look, Natasha has achieved something that not a lot of his fighters have achieved, which is win multiple titles.
You can't, I mean, you look at the wall and then the company I'm in, that's a great thing, yeah, so I'm proud of that.
Next week, Manchester. Are we going to see anything different, or are we going to see the usual Natasha that goes in there and just gets rid of the opponent?
Listen, I'd love to say, oh, yeah, I'm going to knock it out in two, but one, I don't make predictions, and two, I train for 10 hard rounds, and, you know, she's naturally going to be a lot bigger than the other two girls that I've had in Bergholt and Namas. I think, yeah, she's good with her hands, she's good with her feet, and she's smart, and you know, I've got to combat all that. Plus, she's a lefty.
It certainly is. I spoke to Paul Butler earlier. I spoke to Scott Quigg, spoke to Clark, and they said, "Listen, Natasha is like fine wine." Literally, every single one of them said that. Fine wine. She just keeps on getting better and better with age. What's the trick?
There isn't. I just think, like I say, being active and having the weight lifted off my shoulders of having to prove to everyone that I was world level, and now I can just go back to enjoying the boxing, and I'm in the gym, I'm enjoying being in the air, like, you know, you're transferring everything that you're learning into the ring, and that's just what you've got to do on fight night, and I've enjoyed that journey.
I know you're not looking beyond next week, but what are the plans, what are the goals, what else does Natasha Jonas wants to achieve in the sport?
Possibilities now are endless. I think once I get to that point where I think, right, I can't improve anymore, that's when I decide, and that's when I maybe start looking beyond boxing. But right now I don't feel like that. Right now I'm improving with every fight, and right now I still think that I've got a lot to prove, and doubters to people to prove right and people to prove wrong.
I know female boxing has had a fantastic year this year. We saw that epic event with Serrano and Taylor. We saw an exceptional event a few weeks ago with Claressa, Shields, and Savannah, and then Baumgardner and Meyer. And I've spoken to a lot of female fighters over the last few months that I thought I would never speak to. I've interviewed a lot of female fighters, so it's great to see how far female boxing has come. Yeah,
I think slowly and surely, you know, every barrier that's been put up against us, we're breaking it down. It doesn't sell. Okay, we'll tell Madison Square Garden and the O2 that it's not entertaining. Okay, we'll tell every fan who's watched, for the millions of fans that have watched, that it's not. It doesn't do this, it doesn't do that. Okay, well, we've broke all them barriers down, and we've now got to the point where the best want to fight the best. There is no barriers to do that. We've got the athletes to do it, the platform to show it on, and yeah, we just do it. We just go out and not yet have we, you know, sometimes when you get big events, the event doesn't match the fight, or the fight doesn't match the event, vice versa. So we've had both in abundance. You know, the Taylor Serrano was a great start, and Shields and Marshall was a great finish to the year, and it's not over. And we've still got great matchups to go on and happen. And yeah, like I say, then fights are easier to make in the women's, and women want to do that. So let's long may it continue.
A lot of talk about increasing the minutes in the rounds to 3 minutes. Is that something that you'd be up for and something that you'd like to see change in women's boxing?
I think I seen Claressa say it would be a bit dangerous to jump from the 20 to the 30 straight away, and I did get that. There's two things about jumping the minute, and yeah, maybe do 12 twos. But people say we want to see, knockouts. Now, the two biggest knockouts that I can remember, one being the Terry Harper and one being Savannah's last opponent before Claressa, I can't remember her name. And the first thing that people saw when they saw that was, the first thing that they said when they saw that was like, I didn't like that. So people say that they want to see knockouts, but the actual reality of knockouts is that they didn't want to see it. And I think with the sport the way it is and how it's growing, and people forget that the excitement of the women's fights is that it is only 2 minutes. So that's the fun part of it, because you've got to win within the 2 minute round. So I think the reality versus what people say is a little bit different. But would I go up and do the 3 minutes? Yeah, because when the times have changed in amateurs or whatever, you just go with what the rules are, because they're the rules. You have to follow the rules. But if we do that, and we are going to go increase the round, is the pay going to increase? And that's the conversation that no one wants to have.
Is the pay going to increase? I'll ask that question to Ben shortly. Obviously, main event on Saturday night. You end the show, you go back, you get changed, coming back out to see Ricky Hatton and Barrera get it on in the exhibition. I'm interested to see, are they going to just tap around, or are they actually going to have a go?
I'm not too sure, but I know Ricky's training hard. He's got his weight down. He's kept his weight down, even though it was off in the summer. And yeah, he's really enjoying, being trim, being back healthy, being back, doing something positive in the gym. And I never ever thought. I remember going to the Mayweather fight, and as a fan and as a fan of Ricky, I never thought I'd be, on a card with him, sharing top of the bill. And yeah, it's a surreal thing sometimes, boxing, and how life comes around.
What do you make of Katie Taylor's performance on the weekend?
It's tough with Katie, because I think sometimes we expect so much of her, and we expect it like the perfect fight and an exceptional fight every time. And sometimes feel that she can be a little bit of a victim of her own success, because we expect that standard from her. It wasn't the greatest, but she won convincingly. So did it need to be any better? There's an argument for that. And I do sometimes think that she might be one of them fighters that needs a big occasion to get up for. And I've been guilty of that myself in the past. But every time she's got them big fights, she steps up to the plate and she performs. So, maybe there's a bit of that in both, but she won, and it was a good performance on a whole. It wasn't the standard we expected, but like I say, we do expect a lot from her.
A fight you still won?
Sorry?
Is it a fight you still won?
Yeah, and could I get back down? I've heard. Listen, super feather is probably, I can get down to super feather. Could I box at it and perform at it? No. Lightweight, could I? Yes. And could I perform? Yes.
So Kate Taylor versus you at lightweight.
That's
Croke Park.
Croke Park. I want to be on the list.
Quick one, finally. Chantal Cameron obviously big fight this Saturday in Abu Dhabi. Think she can get through it?
Yeah, I think it's a really, really good fight. I don't think the McCaskill that's fighting is the same McCaskill that fought Katie. When you are a champion and you've got them belts, that it brings out something in you. Like you've seen with myself, your performances get better, and you're a lot. I think McCaskill's improved, but then there's Chantal, and I just think Chantal, when she's on it, and she is on it. I've spoken to her, is a different beast altogether. Her first round is exactly like her last. She's fit, she's sharp, she's punches and bunches, and she could pull out a spectacular performance this weekend.
Rumours about you happy to go to America and fight Claressa Shields. Can you confirm or deny?
I know, up and down, and wait. I can't look past what's in front of me. So I'll concentrate on this fight. I'm going to go away and have a good Christmas, and then whatever Ben brings to the table for next year, we'll tackle that. Like we have with this year, we'll take every fight as it comes. If that happens to be Claressa, brilliant. If it happens to be Katie, brilliant. If it happens to be anybody else, brilliant.
All right, let me ask you it this way: if you had an option, if they were both on the table, Katie or Claressa, if you had an option to choose, who would you take? And let's make it interesting: Katie in Ireland and Claressa in America.
That's hard. That's hard. It's the history of Katie. I need to prove myself with Katie, so I'd have to go Katie. But that was a hard one. Claressa in America is a big one too.
I'll let you sleep on it because I'm going to speak to you again next week and hopefully get a different answer from you. Tasha, thank you for giving me a little bit of time. Last couple of days now before fight week commences, and yeah, we'll catch up with you next week.
Nice one, thank you.
Natasha Jonas, IFL TV, thank you very much.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.